Okay, so we've got this fiberglass tub all out of here. I'm going to take out this wall that, like I said, was only put in there due to the fact that that fiberglass tub was 60 inches and that's what they were locked into. And with Marble Works, you don't have to worry about standard sizes. So we're going to open that up and use all that available space. Something else I want to show you here. This is pretty common, what we find when we pull out a fiberglass tub. Our product, the Marble Works product, we're gonna put sheetrock on these studs, and then we're gonna glue directly on top of that. Since the fiberglass has all the voids and contours behind it, the plumbing can be ran outside of the stud wall and still fit behind the fiberglass. But that's not the case if you're going to go back in with tile or cultured marble, such as the Marble Works shower. So I sure wish the plumbers would just put that in the wall to begin with, but they don't always do it. They're just taking a shortcut and not drilling through that bottom plate of the wall. But we're going to have to cut out this floor area. We're going to move that copper pipe back and bring it up inside of the walls, inside of the stud cavity. And then I'm going to switch out the shower valve anyway. Also, on a tub you have an 1.5 inch drain line, and that needs to be a 2-inch line. So I'm going to switch that out as well. Now we're in a 2-story house, so I'm not dealing with concrete. I'm going to go ahead and cut a channel over and get that floor drain closer to the center of the floor, just to make it a more evenly sloped floor that way. And again, this house was built with there was sheetrock. That's an exterior wall, so they put sheetrock up to hold up the insulation. You probably, I don't think I've ever seen that before, so that you probably won't have that sheetrock there, so you'll need to put sheetrock up to glue the product to. But that's our next steps. Alright, so we've got this tub out. I cut a trench through the floor to move my floor drain over to the middle, and I was just going to show you, I mentioned that bathtubs have 1.5 inch drains, and the shower needs a 2-inch drain. And I don't know if you can kind of see down in here, but right here, this is all 2-inch line that goes on down to the basement and outside. But right there, they transition to 1.5 inches to come up into the tub. So I'm just going to come back in here. We're going to cut here and put a new elbow on here and bring the 2-inch on over into here for the drain for the new shower floor. Okay, so I wanted to show you what I ended up with here. I switched out the shower valve. We've got a new shower valve on. I just converted the copper over to PEX. I used some quick connect fittings to go from the copper to the PEX, and then I moved that floor drain. You know, I had cut that 1.5 inch out, changed it over to the 2-inch, and brought that on over here. When I cut that trench out in the floor, it got a little soft on me over there because the floor joist is right underneath this side, so over here was kind of floating. So I added some support underneath there so that wasn't spongy. Now that's about an 8-inch, maybe it's about 7-inch trench that I have across there now. The shower floor can span over that just fine. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't spongy on the other side, but we don't need to fill in the rest of that trench, the floor, and same with that 4-inch hole that I drilled there to get access to some plumbing. The floor is going to span over that. I centered that drain, but you know, it really doesn't have to be that way, but I just like the look of the floor when it's all said and done with a centered drain. That back wall had sheetrock on it, so I cut that up 5 inches off the ground. The shower floor has a curb that comes up about 4 inches that has a flange on the back side that needs to fit underneath of the drywall. So I cut that drywall up, we'll slide that floor in, and then the Marble Works shower panels will just span over any remaining gap. That's only going to be about 1 inch left there, but the panels will span over that. The side walls, that's just a little piece of pipe sitting there. That's going to go into my floor drain later. Anyway, on the side walls, I'm just going to hold off on putting that sheetrock up after the floor is set. The other thing I guess I was going to show you, the shower head was there originally. I went ahead and I wanted to put a rain head in, so my fitting's up there in the middle. This is a 2-story house in Iowa. Pipes will freeze if they're not insulated, so I didn't want to run that PEX line up into the attic and over, so I kept it below my sheetrock. Just ran it tight up to the sheetrock over to the middle, and then just laid some 2x4s flat to fur that down, and put a sheet that's just 1/2 inch OSB on the bottom of that. So I've ended up with 2 inches, a 2-inch drop in my ceiling. These are 8-foot ceilings to begin with, but so I have plenty of height left. But we're going to put a marble ceiling panel on the OSB, and then up here we're just going to put a little piece of marble trim to go across that 2-inch area to finish that off, and I'll show you what that looks like when we get it all done.